Saturday evening. And firstly, thank you so much for all of you to join this expert series lecture by Bhaskar Anand Rao. And let me have the pleasure of inviting our esteemed guest and honored guest. And it's really our pleasure to host him for this wonderful webinar. And just to give you a background about Bhaskar Anand Rao, I'm sure some of you must have Googled and found out his profile on LinkedIn and things like that. But nevertheless, as a formal gesture, it's our honor to welcome Mr. Bhaskar Anand Rao for this webinar. And he comes with a great pedigree. Having done his schooling in St. Lawrence High School in Calcutta, and then BCom from St. Xavier's College, and CPA, and also the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India (IACA) from our own institution, ICAA. And with his illustrious career, he began his career in 1988 as EA to president of BK Birla Group, and then went on to do various stints with various groups like the UB Group, NASCO Holdings, then Rashidin International Holdings Limited, and GMR Group as general manager till 2004. And then in 2004, July is when he became the CEO and the founder director of a company called Smart Retail Private Limited, where he worked for next 4 years, that is till February 2009. And then he became the CFO of GMR Group, and that is, he was there in that capacity between February 2009 and May 2011. After that, he became in the same company, in the same group company, that is GMR Energy Limited. He was Executive Vice President and Chief Financial Officer from May 2011 to August 2014. And after that, he was Chief Strategy Officer and Investment Officer at Al Rashidin Group in Dubai between 2014 September and October 2017. That's for 3 years and 2 months. And just after that, he became the Chief Financial Officer and board member at Bangalore International Airport from October 2017 and till now. And as you can see, with his amazing pedigree as well as the illustrious work experience, and especially being at the center of managing this COVID situation in Bangalore Airport. And I'm sure, like some of you, you must have had your own share of managing this COVID, standing in the middle of the entire action ported there. But I think he comes with a different experience altogether, and we couldn't get somebody else better than Bhaskar to tell us as to how he has managed this pandemic, and also most importantly, the expectations of various stakeholders across the spectrum there, not just the promoters of the international airport, but also the staff, his own colleagues, senior colleagues, and most importantly, the passengers, who are flying through this wonderful airport. And we will have this wonderful session for the next few minutes. And then what we also request is that just one or two protocols. One is that please mute yourself. And as and when you have questions, you're most welcome to put in the chat box, and we'll read out the question once Bhaskar's presentation gets over. And with these two little protocols, I welcome Bhaskar to initiate the proceedings and share his wonderful experience of how and what he learned from this wonderful pandemic. Now it's a wonderful pandemic hobbies. Thank you so much, and look forward to having all of you for the next few minutes. And let's rejoice the expertise of Bhaskar Anand Rao. Over to you, Bhaskar.
Thank you, Dr. Nagendra, and good evening to all of you. I see good many participants in the webinar, and I can understand the interest that this topic has generated. Basically, as much as COVID has been a issue for us as individuals, so it has been for corporates, and so it has been for the finance function. COVID has been probably the greatest disruptor of aviation industry so far Indian aviation has experienced. It was like overnight the demand for travel vanished, threatening the very existence and survival of the sector, the entire aviation sector, which is the airlines and the airports. Lockdowns, successive waves, and the human challenges, the financial challenges, the operational challenges that we have seen in the last 2 years has been tremendous. There were times when we really thought it's really the most difficult of the thing now to move on. And more important than anything else, it's the uncertainty that this entire pandemic has created. There was a time when people would say that there won't be any more travel. People would not travel, or there would not be any business travel. And in case of Bangalore Airport, we were one of those airports who grew at a phenomenal rate from the time we started operations in 2008. I will take you through a brief introduction of our airport, how it evolved, and will explain the COVID impact that the airport had. We also, probably this was a time, and I think somebody actually sent a question where, in a crisis is when you see the biggest opportunities. And we saw two opportunities that we could actually do. And these are real learnings that we had. A finance transformation that we could manage, a digital transformation that we could manage throughout the airport. And finally, some of our learnings that we had. And of course, thereafter, I'll be open for any question and answers questions that you might have and for which I will answer. So I will take you through. You can make notes of any questions, any of the thoughts that you have in a piece of paper, so that we can capture it at the end. I think Dr. Nagendra must have explained the format. I think that's the format which we will go through. So with this, I start. So Bangalore Airport is the first airport in the public-private partnership model in India. When the privatization started, the thought germinated in the 90s, but the actual translation of that thought happened in the first decade of the 2000s, between 2001 and 2010. The model with which Bangalore Airport works is built on operate and transfer. And we have a 60-year concession to build and operate. So our major shareholder are Fairfax Group, who own 54% of the airport. And we have 13% owned by Siemens. The balance 20% owned by Siemens, and the balance 13% and 13% are owned by Government of India through Airport Authority of India and Government of Karnataka through KSIIDC. So probably, in Karnataka, this is one of the most best performing PPP. And if you are from Bangalore, we all share a common pride on the way Bangalore Airport has developed. This is a brief history of how the Bangalore Airport started. As I explained, the idea was born in 1994 to set up India's first PPP airport. And thereafter, a Siemens-led consortium in 1999, Siemens, L&T, and Unix Zurich formed a consortium, and the project was awarded to them. In 2001 is when BIAL was incorporated, and in 2004, Bangalore International Airport, that is BIAL, signed the concession agreement with the Government of India. In 2005, we also signed various other project documents like state support agreements, land lease agreements, etc. And 2006 was when the construction of the airport started. The commissioning and trial started in 2007, and on May 24, 2008, there was a history in making Air India Flight 609 Mumbai-Bangalore in the new airport. 2008, when we started, we started with about 8 million passengers. By 2012, we managed our 50th million passenger, and we soon realized that the airport would have to be expanded. And that is when 2010, we already had started the expansion program. And by 2014, the inauguration of the expanded terminal happened. By 2015, we started planning for the Terminal 2 and the South Runway. We welcomed our 100 million passengers in 2016. 2017 is when our current shareholder bought 48% stake from GVK Group, and L&T also won the contract for Southern Railway at the runway at the same time. And in 2018, Fairfax made it 54%. L&T again won the contract for Terminal 2, and we managed 33.3 million passengers in the financial year 2018-19. That was the last year where we saw such great financial performance. The next year, we came down to 8 million. So that was the impact of COVID. So to tell you briefly, Bangalore is the third largest airport in India in terms of passenger and cargo. We have in that one terminal and two runway that we were managing, the terminal 2 is still under construction. We have managed 32.3 million passengers in financial year 20. Daily average of 631 movements, that's the air traffic movements, that was pre-COVID. Approximately 231,000 air transport movement we did in financial year 20. Our cargo was 374,000 metric tons. We served 26 international destinations and 64 domestic destinations. So these have been the 6 pillars of our growth so far. Airline and cargo, leadership in technology, commercial excellence, operational efficiency. We have built world-class infra and we are continuing to build that. Communities and environment has been a core theme. So this is how we grew. When I told you that we were going through successive rounds of expansion, we were tripling our size every 3 years. 2010 we managed 10 million. 2030 was 30 million, and the way it was going, we would have reached 90 million by 2030. But of course, COVID has put a spanner to these works. This will definitely get delayed. But we do firmly believe that aviation is going to grow. Air travel is the safest mode of travel anywhere in the world, and especially in India. And air travel is no longer the travel for the rich or can be termed luxury. Air travel has become a necessity now. And so with the advent of so many low-cost airlines, air travel has taken a really big leap in the country. We have also tried to be a role model for sustainable progress. Zero land. We have certain goals. We set up certain goals like zero disposal to landfills by 2021, become water positive by 2020, become energy neutral by 2020. And our achievements demonstrate our intent and our efforts. We have set up a 20-ton per day solid waste processing plant. We have also eliminated single-use plastic from the airport campus. We are 1.37 on water positivity. We have the highest level of carbon neutrality as per ACA carbon accreditation. We have 70 million units, that's 100% of the total power consumption, sourced from renewable sources. And we are the first LED powered runway in the country. So in addition, there are 3 mega projects that were in the works at all times, which is basically on developing a world-class infra development with 13,000 crore expansion, which is a terminal 2 and a new parallel runway, plus a host of other projects. We have also in the anvil of digital transformation, plus a 530 acres airport city development within the campus. So this is how our terminal 2 will look like when it gets done by the end of this year. And this we have done in the midst of a COVID pandemic. Where we had challenges of human people falling sick and logistics and financial, in spite of all of that, this is going to be true before the end of this year. This is some more views about what we are doing. This is a visual of the terminal 2. We have our south runway is already operational. The second terminal, the current phase is here. We are building a multimodal transport hub. We are putting a lot of utilities, roads, connectivities, and other projects within this expansion. The 4 pillars are terminal in a garden, resonating with Bangalore being a garden city. Bangalore again being the Silicon Valley, we wish to bring technology in each part of our expansion. Sustainability is a key theme for us, and art and culture of Karnataka and of South India. This is our development of the airport city, where we are going to bring our retail, dining, entertainment zone, convention center, a lot of business parks, and these are all in the stages of development as of now. On CSR, these are the various things that we do, which includes education, rural development, culture and heritage, water and sanitation, health and hygiene. This I'm just taking you through this so that you just get an understanding of how big an operation Bangalore Airport actually runs. And these are, of course, some of the awards that we have always got. Customer experience, people, sustainability, and others. So let's now get into our main topic, that is the COVID and impact on the aviation business. So COVID-19 is a rare situation, which probably I do not know, but one such event in somebody's life, an organization's life, a person's life itself is adequate to give a lot of learning and to give a lot of education. Due to its complexity, COVID, which we are still, dealing with this entire pandemic as we speak of, is still not over, and we still are going through this pandemic, the impact of the pandemic. But one important thing is, like humans, organizations also learn to live with, complexity, learn to live with restrictions, constraints, etc. So some of the key complexities were lack of quality information and contradictions across, including starting with will there be business travel? Will people travel at all? Will COVID affect Indians? We've seen all of those now, and you will have a list of your own. It's been very highly dynamic, and this has been faster than humans and organizations could adopt. And finally, this is still a fact, no end in sight. And at least for now, every time a wave comes and passes through, we think this is the end of it. 2 years of Spanish flu and it went off, and that's what our current expectation and our faith and hope are. COVID-19's impact on people and companies are quite similar. Impact on people was significant impact on those with comorbidities. Impact on organizations are also similar. Companies with severe conditions like high leverage, low cash reserve, lagging in technology adoptions were severely impacted. Somebody wrote, how do companies manage? Do they anticipate what sort of precautions they would have taken? I mean, you just need to be healthy. Like a human body, companies need to be healthy. And that includes that companies are not very highly leveraged. Companies do not, take too much of risk. They have a good risk matrix and a management of the risk matrix. And they should adopt technology as it comes, and which all three of us, which have been a strength with Bangalore International Airport. And that's the reason we've been able to manage what we have been able to do so far in a very robust manner. This is how it panned out. From some 100,000 passengers a day in May 2020, we were 9,345. As the first wave went, we gradually went up to 51,405 passengers a day. Again, the second wave, the Delta, brought us to our knees. It came down to 12,033. And through the second wave, again, it moved up to 55,000. And as we speak now, we are somewhere around 32,000 passengers a day. Again, we are waiting for this wave to pass off and again go back to our, post-wave highs. So this is the story that has been happening so far. And our approach to maneuver this complexity are the 3 AAAs. Accept that we are in trouble, accept that the sector is in trouble, accept our constraints, accept the problems that have been put through by the pandemic, adapt ourselves to the new reality, find what are the mitigations that we can do, what are the proactive issues that solutions that we can find, and post adaptation advance. That is, life is advanced. Just keep walking. If you stop walking, it's all over. So one cannot say that I am not going to advance, and that's a philosophy we have adopted in Bangalore International Airport. Generally, once the COVID came in, what we did was, being an airport, we have it's a must-run asset. It's a must-run organization. We cannot stop, and we have our frontline people who have braved and through the waves, through the difficulties, they have come and managed the airport, manage the operations. So we set up a steering committee to make sure that we take all personal related health issues as a priority in this entire thing. We created a war group with giving support to everybody who was affected, be it a BIAL employee or be it anybody else from the airport campus, a cargo employee, a fuel farm employee, a retail and F&B employee, whoever it is. We treated everybody on the same, and we tried our best to make sure that they get vaccinated as soon as they became eligible. So we ran vaccination camps, we ran COVID camps, we tied up with the hospital so that ICU beds are available, and then we did a very effective contract tracing. We did team A, team B, TC, who do not meet each other during a COVID wave, such that if one team gets badly affected by COVID, the other two teams can actually manage. So this was a BCM, a business continuity process that we adopted. We also believe that we have to go through a process of progressive calibration, in a sense that all the assumptions that we have made earlier may no longer hold true. There may be a lot of things that would have to change, and this change has to be dynamic. COVID doesn't bother whether you have done a budget and you've said that I'm going to spend so much of money. I need to spend, but COVID says the situation has already changed. So we had to make sure that we are agile at every level. So we had a progressive calibration of budget. We had a progressive calibration of work from home. We had a progressive calibration of how we treat our concessionaires, how we deal with them, what sort of support that we can give. We had a progressive calibration as far as vendors were concerned. So what we wanted to be agile and nimble across operations, people, and finance. And that's something, a great learning that organization really got. And some of the aspects we worked upon were operational changes, social distancing, budget revisions, repatriation flights, which almost came suddenly on a particular day, our change in strategy, safety and hygiene. These were all areas that we the steering group actually thought, and the management group worked on. Communities, how we serve the communities, because during the first lockdown, there were people who were out there with no way to even fill their stomach, and we ran a CSR program where we cooked. All our kitchens were converted into community kitchens. We cooked and we served across all the areas that we could reach from the airport. That's what we call Namma Chetna. We served 425,000 meals in that 2 months. Contactless journey, that was managing contactless journey, and digital, which was already, Bangalore Airport had a pole position in that. We accelerated the digital journey. We also worked in a collaborative manner with the airlines and with other agencies. We renewed our focus on cargo because that was one growth story which did not stop. And managing the labor, because we had huge number of managers, labor, more than 5,000 labor working across various contracts and various construction sites within the airport. Let me come to where it matters for me, the financial impact on aviation business. COVID was, let me say, the biggest impactor for us. The year 2020 started with a global explosion of COVID-19, leading to major lockdown, people movement as well as economy. Air traffic almost came to a standstill, and recovery was very stunted. The lockdown led to traffic forecast to drop by 86%. We had our first loss for Bangalore International Airport on that year. And the next year again we did a huge loss. Cash flow forecasted to turn deeply negative by Q3, Q4 of that year, putting severe demand for cost-saving measures. Our management took a stand to ensure. One of the key things that we said was our employees are our assets, and their jobs and salaries needs to be protected. We did not ask anybody to go, and we made sure their salaries were not cut, their jobs were protected, and in fact, we gave increments and incentives as part of the contracted remuneration. And only way to achieve, and this was one of the calls that I had across the organization as a CFO, and I said, look, we need to save cost. We went on a program called Fit Financial Improvement Targets. That we need to do a BioFit program where give me various lines, heads of expenditure, and tell me what you can save out of that. In an airport, 80% of our cost is fixed. Almost over 30 to 35% is personal cost. Then if the terminal is open, all expenditure, maintenance, air conditioning, water, people, everybody has to be there. 80% of our costs are fixed. It's only about 20% which is variable. The challenge was to get into this 80% cost and to reduce the cost in that line item. And I said, please put a list, and I'll keep the employee cost at the last because I don't want to cut it. That's what you take home. I do not want to cut it. At all times, any cut in the employee cost or the personal cost would be the last item. And this led to a great motivation across. And we saved between 15 to 20% of our cost on fixed cost. We've saved. People who swore that we are running a very efficient organization and there is no fat built in the cost, have managed to get 15 to 20% cost reduction. And this was a great achievement. And most of these costs are again, sustainable. They are not opportunistic. Some of them are opportunistic, but a lot of them are sustainable. And this is a great benefit that the airport has got. And we have suddenly converted ourselves into a efficient, cost optimized organization. One of the key things that I have heard some other CFO talking about is also good cost and bad cost. Always make sure good cost, which is for productivity, which is to increase efficiency, always incur. But there are bad costs. Please try and eliminate all the bad costs. And that's something, it's just not a finance organization that has done. It's across the operations, the E&M, the commercial, the project. Everybody has contributed to make sure that the cost reduction has happened. So basically, as I explained, there were three key impacts. One, massive revenue reduction, 80 to 90% revenue reduction from airlines, cargo, passenger. See, we have two streams of revenue: aeronautical revenue and non-aeronautical revenue. Dr. Nagendra, you've got to keep me on the time check, please. Because I may keep on talking and I may...
No. I think it's very good. I think we have time. In fact, a lot of questions have started flowing in. I think we didn't want to disturb your flow. Please go ahead, Bhaskar.
Okay. I'm just realizing it's 6:33. So I'll try and wrap up by 6:45 or so that I still give some time for questions. Aeronautical revenue and non-aeronautical revenue, and both saw a dip because the key, the airline passengers and the aircraft both dipped. BIAL was also in the midst of a 13,000 crore capital program. We are expanding. We are putting an airport within an airport, a new terminal, new runway, new taxiway, new road connecting system, new multimodal transport system. Huge. And COVID brought a phenomenal and an unprecedented shock to the system, not hitherto experienced either during the 9/11 crisis or the 2008 financial meltdown or failure of Kingfisher and Jet Airlines. So, this is basically, our aeronautical revenue is always a building block approach, which takes into account, we get a per pax sort of a revenue, which if passenger revenue goes down, we sort of lose out on the aeronautical revenue, and non-aeronautical is just like a commercial thing. So our BIAL 2.0 and BIAL Fit program, where to, I mean, as I explained, let me go a little bit faster now. Quick win savings and sustainable savings, and these are the savings that we were able to manage. We also started a program where we wanted to find new sources of revenue, and for that we started what is called a Bangalore Idea Labs, and this gave us a lot of ideas as well, some of which are now under implementation. We have also said that our objective should be growing with the existing manpower, exploration of synergies, and cost optimization and process excellence. And we were able to, the steering committee was led by 7 CXOs, which included the managing director, the CFO, the COO, the CHRO. Every key member was there in this program, and that is how we were able to succeed hugely. There was a drive from the management, and there was a huge response from the entire teams. So, our key messages that our managing director actually gave was that as we adapt and advance into future, which is quite different from what any one of us expected a few months back, the objective of the project is to redefine the way we do business and become agile and nimble. It's also equally important from various aspects to optimize our organization and make it future-proof. This was the objective that we did. And our goal statement was identifying new areas of cost saving, achieving savings through negotiation, deferring OPEX and CAPEX, and sustaining on achieved cost savings. So these were some of the key things that we could do. I mean, we started a project BIAL 2.0 to make the organization future-proof, BIAL Fit to make sure we have cost optimization. We also identified, did this through 2 waves, wave 1 and wave 2. The target was to reduce, and we actually managed annual OPEX by 80 crore and improve productivity by 30% for entire BIAL 2.0 program. So let me just take it faster from here. I have talked about this. And again, the ideas, most of the ideas, we invited a lot of employees to give their ideas. We received 69 ideas from the employees. 51 are under progress. And then we actually found 8 which is feasible and which has got implemented, and 10 which was not feasible. But the others are still under evaluation to see whether we can implement a lot of them. And there were brilliant ideas that came from the employees. So the second thing that we did with the financial transformation was a digital transformation. And COVID-19 brought certain permanent changes in the passenger behavior, more self-service oriented, lesser human-to-human interactions, and digital solutions to address the new normal for air travelers. These were some of the things that we again fast forwarded. And our digital progress again, and I am one of the key sponsors for the digital transformation. One is a digital airport experience to change to be a one-stop shop for all transaction information and document. Contactless travel, which is basically driven through DigiYatra. BIM and IoT-based asset management platform to manage the entire assets and also to have a great control on the maintenance cost. Business intelligence platform to make sure that we get the right information and the right analytics, and a cloud-based platform-driven internal paperless process, so that our workflows and our data management becomes much more effective. So our digital powered innovation, the objective was to enhance customer experience, improve operational efficiency, enhance revenues, and drive innovation and new business model and sustainability. And in each of this, we've been able to achieve tremendously. In fact, revenue enhancement, we have found ways to monetize our digital strength into actual rupee revenues, and those are currently in implementation. And this is going to be a sort of a trend breaking stuff which most airports will start adopting. let me take a little bit faster here. These were all our digital transformation projects that we did. And you see a huge number of digital transformation projects that we have taken, including some to increase capacity, some to optimize cost, some to enhance revenues. So in fact, one of the mantra that we had for Bangalore Airport was to increase capacity by more bytes and less bricks. We wanted to build airport with less bricks and more bytes, and that's exactly what we are trying to do. This is on biometric based. I mean, again, your face is your boarding card, and this is something which is already implemented in Bangalore Airport, but we are awaiting a national rollout so that it can become effective. Let me just take a little. So our key learnings, and this is where I would spend a little bit of time. As I mentioned, adapt, adopt, and advance became a key organizational mantra. We wanted to make sure that we are clearly metamorphosizing ourselves into this new situation. Organizational crisis management and BCM preparedness has to always be agile, and this is something along with risk management. We do a quarterly review to make sure that we are on the top of this. Cash is not only the king but the emperor, and this was absolutely proven. In fact, we started the pandemic with adequate cash in hand, and that was out of again our conservative cash management program, and that helped us. And in fact, in our entire expansion program, we did a financial closure with 5 banks, and we put the equity requirement, the money required to be put from the company was put upfront. So we did not have any pressure for our expansion program, and the expansion program went very smoothly as far as the finance was concerned. Avoid reactive actions. I mean, we said we will take medium to long-term views. See, we build assets which are for 60 years. We don't build assets for a day or assets for a year or assets for 5 years. Once we build an asset, it's for a very long period. And from that perspective, we have to take views of how the aviation traffic in the country and for Bangalore would be there. The other is employees. They require our maximum support from the organization from a perspective of financial well-being, health well-being, mental well-being, and this is something that we put as a priority for us. Show honest and transparent support to all the business stakeholders, customers, vendors, contractors, etc. You see, all those retail shops and F&B in the terminal, they all made good investments, and during lockdown they were almost out of job. There was nothing for them. We suspended all sort of revenue from them and gave them time to recover themselves. They were so happy with the sort of support and handholding that Bangalore Airport did that we had all of them staying with us, and none who left and closed shop, which was a tremendous achievement for us. Keep a firm eye on cash flow and ensure that cost optimization is at the top of the CFO's priorities and goals. So this is all. Thank you for your patience, and now I'm happy to take any Q&A.
Thank you so much, Bhaskar. I think it's a very high intense, I think, and especially, those 2 tumultuous years. And of course, we are just hoping and praying and wishes to all of you and your team, for tiding over this crisis and then, come out very successfully. And with your permission, I just have a few questions, maybe about 8 of them as of now. And if I can read out to you very quickly, Bhaskar. Can I?
Yeah.
So there is actually 2 questions asked by Nanda Chiti, and his questions are: how does the CFO balance a crisis which created a perfect storm in the current corona situation, whereby the airline industry had a big impact in many decades? Right. Other one is a big challenge is to manage the crisis, but the more important one is how does one anticipate and strategize to plan to ride it and then be over the top of the storm, be stronger after the tiding over the crisis. And that's a question from one of our participants called Nanda Chiti Bhaskar.
Hi. Good question. The first question on COVID being the biggest disruptor. I think I have sort of explained, but we have gone through it in a, it's a lesson by itself. COVID has been a teacher for us. Airport sector in the country has never faced a crisis. I mean, we were not at all impacted by 9/11. We were not impacted by the 2008 financial meltdown. We were slightly impacted by the airline failings, the Kingfisher and Jet, but this was like a showstopper for us. All of a sudden, one fine morning, we said that there are no aircraft, and it was mentally so agonizing, and also the uncertainties that it has created. So this is where true management has to come through, where there has to be recent steps, and they should all be nothing which is a very long step, but all small steps, because you could only manage a crisis by going one small step at a time, but being agile. To make sure that you do a progressive calibration of all your strategies. It cannot be that I have one strategy for throughout a pandemic. We did not have. We changed our strategies. Maybe you might be wrong, but then stitch in time saves 9 days, and that was the way we managed. We kept on taking decisions. From a financial perspective, one of the key things that I said was, look, I need to have a firm eye on my cash flow. I need to make sure that I am always at all times liquid. Operating an asset like an airport, it requires a lot of money. There's a lot of money that is required to make sure that it keeps on going. And I had to keep a very firm eye on the cash flow. So I went back to the lenders, talked to them. We took advantage of all the benefits that government extended. In addition, we went and arranged for additional corporate loans, working capital loans. Although I have not used them so far, but then we wanted to be financially stable. We wanted to make sure that we have adequate financial tie-ups that have been done. We went to the government and asked them to postpone our payments to government, and they were very kind. I mean, they took the view, and they also allowed us time. So from that perspective, I mean, I know airlines have faced even bigger challenges than us, because for them, one difference between them and us is that most of their expenses are variable. In our case, most of our expenses are fixed. But they have faced a lot of challenges, and at times their financial situation, only the strong survived in this process. So it's been a learning, and it's been also a test of our all the experiences, all the learnings that I had, all the stuff that I have managed all throughout my life to manage financing. They were all put to test, and I had to get through it. That was, I think, the first one. The second one was on I think the opportunity. Of course,
right.
We've learned a lot of things during this period. I mean, the learning has been tremendous. First, we have also got a benefit that we've got a very dedicated team who believe in Bangalore Airport like nothing. If you ask their faith and belief before the pandemic and after, I mean, it would have just shot up, because it's a two-way trust. It's a two-way traffic, and that has been strengthened. We believed in collaboration. We believed in vendor support, in concessional support, and most importantly, we believe that we need to put our eggs into different baskets and not bring them all into one. We developed our cargo business tremendously. We started our airport city development immediately, so that we have multiple areas of revenue earning as well as cost optimization. These were some of the key learnings.
Thank you, Bhaskar. I think we have 13 questions, but then let me just quickly go through them. And this is a question from Ashish Moitra, and his question is regarding the revenue from aviation and non-aviation. Is it directly proportional to each other, or which part playing a major role during pandemic, pre-pandemic, post-pandemic, as passenger movement is fluctuating a lot? And this is a question from Ashish Moitra. Thank you, Ashish.
Hi, Ashish. Thank you. Very interesting question. Airport revenues are slightly different. I mean, the aeronautical revenue that the airport earns, which is basically what we charge as landing, parking, housing to the airlines, what we charge for the cargo concessionaires, what we charge for the ground handling, and what we charge as UDF to the passengers. These all constitute what is called the aeronautical bucket. Airports normally work on tills. There's the aero till and there's the non-aero till. In India, it's called a hybrid till. Basically, the aero till is subsidized to the extent of 30% by the non-aeronautical till. Now, the aeronautical till is determined, the tariff is determined by a regulator based on a cost perspective. From a perspective of operational cost, depreciation, interest outgo, return on equity, etc. And based upon their assessment for a period of 5 years called control period, we are in the third control period as far as Bangalore Airport is concerned, a yield per passenger is derived. From this yield per passenger, what we get from, let's say, cargo concessionaire or from a ground handling concessionaire or a ICT concessionaire or a fuel farm concessionaire is reduced. And from there, further, a 30% revenue, what we earn from non-aeronautical revenue is reduced to get to what is a net yield per passenger that we can do. This is recovered from airlines that are landing and from the passengers. Now, when, it's very nice. I mean, let's assume you got a yield per passenger of 300 rupees where we charge 100 to the passenger, 200 to the airline. If both airline and passengers are not there, where do I collect that from? At the end of the day, there has to be traffic. If the traffic is not there, there is no business. Okay. Now, as far as the non-aeronautical portion is concerned, it's basically, the retail, F&B, duty-free, parking, lounges, etc. All the others where we do a concession, a public concession, publicly, invited concession, and we have a, concession fee that comes to us.
Thank you. I think next question we have is from Gaurav Mohan. His question is, please define being agile and nimble by giving us specific examples. Thank you, Gaurav.
Gaurav, thank you. So agile and nimble is changing decisions or making decisions every week. Okay. Now, for instance, there's a, let's say, this time around, we were very agile. We just sensed the third wave coming. We said, employees work from home. We immediately put all our non-essential work employees to work from home. We said the frontline workers immediately get into teams A, B, and C so that they don't meet each other. We start the weekly COVID testing for all the employees who come everyday basis. We immediately made sure that our tie-ups with the hospitals, the oxygen concentrators, etc., that we have are all kept ready. So this is how we have been working, and this were all done in within 3 or 4 days. On a quarterly basis, we have taken our budgets to our board, said, look, we think now our forecast for the next 9 months or next 6 months is so and so. So we change our revenue forecast. Accordingly, we change our cost forecast. So it's almost a zero-based every time. Every quarter we take a zero-based budgeting because we could not anticipate what would have happened.
Absolutely. Must have been very grueling. And I have a next question from Nisha Gobind, and her question is, how is the social distancing or safety measures implemented in the eateries within the terminal? Thank you, Nisha. Very interesting.
Yeah. So the typical social distancing is like how it all happens. But what we have done in our airport is that we have enabled a part of our check-in process or backdrop process, etc., to be digitized. For instance, we have adopted some airlines where one could register for the face biometric, sort of a machine in a biometric reader outside the airport, and thereafter, everything from the boarding pass to the baggage, etc. Everything would be through a face recognition mechanism. Number two, we implemented a self bag drop where that would be contactless. I mean, you just have you just take your own baggage tag, roll it around, and then drop the bag. We have also tried to, for instance, not to have too much of a crowd around the, the breakfast and the restaurants or coffee houses. We have put in a app there where etc. delivered to gate number, let's say 5. I'm sitting over there, and that delivery was happening. So we've tried all of that to make sure that as much as possible our interactions, face-to-face contacting, etc. is reduced within the airport.
Thank you. And this is an interesting question based on one of the things that you said, Bhaskar. And the question is from Shiv Kumar Methil. And his question is, dear sir, how do you identify good cost and bad cost during well-performing period? Thank you, Shiv Kumar. Very interesting.
Shiv Kumar, thank you. Good cost and bad cost are always very clear. A good cost is productive. It gives you certain returns, either by way of optimizing your operational process or increasing your revenue potential, either today or in the future. A bad cost is one which is just cost which has been carried forward and which has not seen any improvement over a period of time. It's like I have been spending this money earlier. I am continuing to spend this money now. There could be many number of costs which we can do. For instance, pre-COVID, we had these DG buddies who would assist the passengers. During a COVID, we cannot use them. And if we are still employing them, that's a bad cost because it's unproductive. Similarly, during the pandemic, we had the entire terminal. We closed down part of the terminal because there's no point in operating that part of the terminal, having air conditioning, having all other utilities, having people over there. That's a bad cost because it's not required any longer. If you do not require a cost to run your operation efficiently, it's a bad cost.
Thank you. And we have another question from the gentleman. His name is Gaurav Mohan. And question is, where were the non-revenue models as per the ideation labs you applied? Thank you, Gaurav.
Thank you. So some of the thing was, we have so many of these F&B in our forecourt and what you call quad outside the airport. Now, their catchment is only those passengers who come. One of the ideas that came was to have a app and a delivery mechanism where surrounding the air, one inside the airport campus, and number two outside residential areas and office areas, where the food that is available in this can be delivered through an app-based mechanism. So such that there is increase in turnover for all of these F&B outlets in the terminal, in the forecourt and the quad area. It helps the F&B outlets. It helps us because we get a better revenue share of it. And there is a particular money given, which is also allocated for the delivery. This was one of them. Number two, to convert, Bangalore Airport is so very green, so many gardens. To have some, photo shoots areas where people could, for post pre-wedding photograph or for some event want to take some photographs. We can have very nice places where people can come and take photographs, and we could adopt that booth. The third one is purely aeronautical stuff where we are testing of the runway and the various tarmacs for repair, etc. is a very laborious thing. So one of the idea was to get a vehicle which has mounted cameras, which goes around, which maps the entire area, and that is taken back into an a digitized app, and which tells very clearly what are the areas which needs immediate. Every Tuesdays we are closed. Our runways are closed for 3 hours. So during that compressed period, what are the key areas that needs to get repaired? And this model can be marketed elsewhere to many other airports. So similarly, there were many ideas which came. Some we adopted, some we could not.
There is an interesting question, a very personal question, Bhaskar, and it is from Avinash Singh. His question is: how did you motivate yourself and employees during the COVID-19 peak period? Because that's the time when a lot of companies have laid off employees.
Yeah, see, at the end of the day, I have to think myself. I'm an employee. I have a family. I need my monthly pay that I take home, and that's true for everybody. So what we decided very clearly was, we said, look, we are not going to take any new people. Okay, we want all our people to continue, but we will make sure that we do better productivity. We get better productivity from each employee. So even for a replacement, we will go through a process saying, is it required or is it not required? If somebody leaves the job, replacing the thing. And we also said that we will optimize our employees to make sure that we will also operate the new terminal with just some balancing additions. So this entire program, with this thing that there is a firm support given by the employer saying that I am with you, but show me how this can be done, was enough to motivate. And in addition, we said we have to find areas where we can cut cost, save money, so that we can pay ourselves. And Bangalore Airport basically is a board managed company where the promoters are not having a day-to-day. So it's basically the management team who are all employees ourselves, and people could connect with each other much faster. And that drove. And the second thing is the pride. Bangalore Airport, for Bangaloreans, evoke a lot of pride. Our employees are very proud that they work for Bangalore Airport.
Absolutely.
So that's another factor.
There's a question from Megha Sharma, and her question, Bhaskar, is that when more devices like biometric boarding pass scanners and temperature scanners were installed, how did the BIL reduce OPEX by 80 crores? Thank you, Megha. Very interesting financial question.
Thank you, Megha. So we had a lot of employees on contract, which, for instance, we had employees who would look after the retail area. We had, contracted employees who would look after security, and employees who would look after, let's say, traffic in the forecourt. We combined some of these roles. We said, let's pay a little bit better, but let's get better people who can manage all the three of it. Okay. Number two, there was certain balancing we did. There was certain, like for instance, the fire force that we had slightly more people because we had taken them in anticipation of the T2. We moved some of them into some other roles. We retrained them and took them into some other roles. Plus, the thing is that lot of work which required more number of people to be taken. By not taking those people, our costs also came down from a perspective of the other like employee transportation, employee lunch, etc. Those costs were also reduced over there. In addition, we went around and on let's say what are the optimization we can do. There could be a maintenance requirement which could be efficiently be done, let's say in 3 different places on the same day, but which was, let's say, scheduled for 3 days. We try to bring them into 2 days. Did more effectiveness by giving some more aids. And the passenger related, all the digitization that we did also helped us in conserving a number of manpower. Otherwise, we would have had to take many more. So when some left, we did not even take people back because, for instance, self-backdrop, it's the passenger themselves who do. We had a lot of people initially to educate them, but then we did not extend their contracts thereafter because they were all, most of them are on contract basis. So, and plus, we also have a very transparent and a very efficient procurement process where a lot of contracts which came, we ran quite efficient bidding process with them, and we reduced about 5 to 10% of cost from them.
Thank you. I think, for want of time, I'll take 3 more questions with your permission, Bhaskar, because there are about 25, but I don't think we can take all of them. With your permission, I'll just take 3 more and then we will wrap it up, if that's okay, Bhaskar, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So we have a question from Shilpi Gupta, and her question is, did the cargo from international markets also get affected in terms of number of flights? Thank you, Shilpi.
Hi, Shilpi. Actually, cargo was a pleasantly different story. Our exports improved tremendously during this period. The last year, 3 consecutive months, we have broken our record of highest cargo handling right from the airport opening date in 3 continuous months. So we also see that Bangalore would be an important cargo hub. We manage we've come out as a leaders for the highest tonnage of fresh export from India for any airport. We've also digitized this process tremendously. We brought in a software to manage the entire workflow, including customs, the cargo operators, the forwarding agents, everybody, and we're able to process the entire end-to-end cargo for export within some 14 hours, which we ourselves were saying that people talk about months, days. This is not even one day. In 14 hours end-to-end, the cargo is processed from the time of receiving to its delivery. So bringing efficiency, bringing digitized mechanism, and also trying to bring more professional or international organization into it. We think the cargo is going to be a very important aspect for any airport, and especially for Bangalore Airport.
Thank you. I think we have 2 more questions, and we'll wrap it up. And this is a question from Bhumika Singh. Her question is, there must be a sharp change in the risk matrix because of uncertain conditions or the waves. How the financial functions and other operations were managed when no previous organization structure was available to manage them?
So as an airport, thanks, Bhumika. As an airport, we have a strong ERM, enterprise risk management, and BCM, business continuity process, always embedded in our system. For us, cash flow, which was probably, or a tariff mechanism, which was probably in 12th or 13th of our list, suddenly shot up to number 1. Okay, but we had a risk register which included all of this. We also brought in certain new risks and have started a new risk audit process for, let's say, cyber risk, cyber security risk, and we increased our focus on them. Financial, of course, was always a point, but again, some of the other risks that we anticipated on project execution, project completion, etc. We brought those risks into top 10 sort of a risk and started addressing them on our monthly strategy meetings to make sure that these are managed on a effective basis throughout the month. And these also got into this risk management also got into the goal sheets of key CXOs, and there was a very strong review system that we managed thereafter.
One last question from Shruti Kemparaj, and her question is: each digitization must have come at cost. how did the business evaluate to reach the total benefit? What are the things that you have considered to realize the anticipated benefits?
Thank you, Shruti. See, for us, there are two different revenue streams. One is the aeronautical revenue stream, one is non-aeronautical. In aeronautical revenue system streams, our investment into digital are clearly driven by our operational needs, improvement in efficiency needs, and to see where we can fasten the time process. For instance, we put a queue management system just to understand where in the airport are queues getting coming together and creating a commotion or creating a issue. So to avoid that, we put a queue management system through which we started managing the various passenger flow within the airport. So that is a more clearer operational and efficiency driven. In case of a non-aeronautical area or any other area, we clearly go through a ROI mechanism, see whether I'm going to get a clear ROI on any investment, and based upon that only we do investment thereafter.
Thank you so much. I think it was almost about 70 odd minutes, continuous interaction, Bhaskar. It's an amazing, interaction. And I have no words to thank you enough for the kind of time that you spent, and also the kind of detailing that has gone into not just your presentation, but also the kind of response that you have given to all the questions. And we are sorry, participant, that some of your questions couldn't be taken because of the paucity of time. And on behalf of all of you, let me place our sincere thanks and heartfelt gratitude to Mr. Bhaskar Rao. And then also with the fervent prayer that he and his team are endowed with much more energy to carry forward this wonderful mission, so that this becomes a great example of how a world-class airport is managed, not just in India but also across the globe. Because we get to hear about lots of stories from across the world, but I think we have a homegrown story right in front of us. And then every time you go to Bangalore Airport, now you know whom to thank. And thanks to Bhaskar Anand Rao and his team. And thank you so much, Bhaskar, for all your time. And look forward to hosting you very soon and in the years to come as well. Thank you so much. And trust us. I'm sure every time we go to we pass by Bangalore Airport, I don't think anybody will pass without making a reference, or at least have this mental reference to today's presentation. At least those people who have attended today's session. Thank you so much, Bhaskar. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Nagendra, and thank you all the participants. It's been a tremendously enriching and gratifying experience for me as well. So many questions coming. I can see the interest at Bangalore Airport, and our COVID management has brought in among everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you all the participants. Have a wonderful evening and great weekend. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.